How's it going? So today we're just talking about a wee bit about intermittent fasting, and just basically with the 7-day diet and that, we did 16-hour fast, 8-hour feeds, and people were just wondering could they do 12 and things like that. So we're just kind of going to talk a wee bit about that and hopefully give everybody a clear understanding about what it's all about. And in order to do, we're just kind of going to do a wee book review here of a very popular book on intermittent fasting, and puts it in a real good, easy to understand way. I'll put it down in a few of my emails. I mentioned the people try and download it, but I know rightly it's probably didn't, so I'm just going to explain it to you now as best we can. So I'm just kind of looking at the book there. It's just Experiments with Intermittent Fasting. So if you even just want to Google that, you can read it for yourself and understand it all for yourself, and you'll be flying. But we're just going to kind of go through here now to page 5, where you really kind of start. So we're just talking about sleeping and how we all basically we fast overnight anyway. So everybody does a certain amount of intermittent fasting. So anybody that's kind of jumping up and down and getting all excited saying it's bad for you, this, that and the other, that kind of puts that to bed. No pun intended. So here we have, they're just talking about Ramadan. The Muslims every year they go 30 days on the fast, and actually showed afterwards they were sometimes healthier during Ramadan than the rest of the year. In particular, heart disease and markers of inflammation decreased, and comparing that with caloric restriction, most people in a desperate attempt to lose weight or whatever, they start starving themselves and things like that, but basically they just ended up like walking skeletons, as he says here. So obviously the point is that maybe you don't do it all the time, obviously, but doing it in certain periods is good. Doing it all the time basically just isn't good and pretty bad for you. Going on to page number 9 then. So again, it's just talking about breakfast and different things here. That's why self-experimentation and lifestyle matching are really important. So again, it's just a matter of finding what works for you. I know Alan Cosgrove, this is a bit by him. He runs Results Fitness and he's a very popular fitness expert. Him and Nick Tuminello is another guy I follow that's very good. Basically, they just talk about any new members or any new people they have. They get them starting off eating like 4, 5, 6 meals a day, get them cutting out the rubbish and just starting good proper workouts. And it always gets them starting well without overwhelming them, and then the results kind of follow after that, and they get more confidence, etc. So that's basically the way we like to do it as well, and I think that's the way most people should do it. No matter how mad keen you are to lose weight now and do the devil and all, you might want to just give it a bit more time. So here's another bit. The only way to truly understand a nutritional system is to try it. In the fields of health and nutrition, the published research is always limited. So again, that's a very important point, because there's certain guys out there and they read all the research and the science, and they'll yap on and they think they're making great points, but a lot of them aren't actually out training people. And you can have great science, but some mother who has 3 children to look after and has about an hour a day, if even that, to herself, she doesn't give a shit about the science. She wants to lose that bit of weight and get into the dress, and we have to try and tailor all that around. So the science is great, and again, Nick Tuminello in particular talks, and he says you should always have it 50-50 between science and real world kind of practical stuff, and that's the way you kind of want to base everything around. And because that's what really annoys me about the boys that go on about the science, etc. If you land on their website or you're reading their stuff, you're kind of reading that, and puts people off because I think, geez, I can never do that, or I'd never be able to do that. And it's bull. Like if you started off and just did it practically, you'd get a lot better results than being put off by negative kind of crap that they're talking about. Okay, so that's just a wee point on that. Page 14, so I have my wee notebook there beside. So this is basically just the different types of intermittent fasting that he talks about. So one is like 36-hour fast and 12-hour feed. So I'm not really a fan of that when I was writing my notes. Meal skipping is just kind of random, so I know a lot of guys do it randomly. It sounds okay. Eat, stop, eat. So you can Google that as well. Brad Pilon's book. So that's 24-hour fast, 1-2 times a week. You have lean gain, 16-hour fast, 8-hour feed. That's the way the 7-day diet kind of works. And there's a warrior diet. So again, you can see different types. So it's basically about getting what works for you again. Here again, because the research is so spotty, so it's hard to even these guys. There's a lot of debate out there, but you just have to see what works for you. So once you have the experience to rely upon, you can tweak away to your heart's content and see what works for you. So then, see, I keep messing up my pages here. So then we're in 17. So again, this is basically a good point. The one client, and he wanted everything now. He wanted more. He wanted quickly. He wanted now. He wanted to get stuck into this big fancy diet and the weight to fall off him. And he actually asked for his money back. They convinced him to stay, but unfortunately he stuck at it. And then within 12 months, he had lost nearly 90 pounds, reversed his type 2 diabetes, and got into the best shape of his life. He didn't use AF, but it still worked. Basically, the moral of the story is do less, and you could end up with more. So that's why the January New Year's resolution people can kind of get in your nerves. Any kind of fitness professional know, because they're going to come in, they're going to do the devil and all, and then 2 weeks later they're nowhere to be seen. So if you really mean business and you're really serious about it, just start simple and gradually build it up as you go. So there's just different wee notes on that again. So then we kind of skip on here to page 24. So there's a real good point here. So when I began this experiment, the first few fasting days were a challenge. So I know a lot of people find a lot of big headaches and things like that. It's just kind of your body getting used to it. You just have to get on with it and kind of suck it up to a certain point. And as I said, if you were having real caffeine withdrawal headaches, maybe you could have a cup of tea or whatever just to tide you over. And eventually after a week or two you'll be able to handle it without it, Again, here we have, I tell my clients, for the next step when hitting the fat loss plateau is to make the smallest possible improvement. So again, just try and get started and just keep trying to move in the right direction as best you can. So page 29 then. Oh. So I don't really know what I'm looking at here. Right, so go on to page 32, sorry. And again, you're talking about 1 day a week. So again, he played about with it a wee bit. 1 day a week he found good and it worked out well for him. 2 days a week he found it bad and basically he didn't really like it. It was just too much for him. So again, like everyone else, he's just playing about with it, seeing what works for him, and that's basically the way you want to do it yourself. And this is a big point here. Eat your largest meal directly after the workout. Everything you read, whether it's muscle building or fat loss, that's always a big point, because basically after you work out your muscles are depleted and your muscles, just like a vacuum, will suck up the largest meal, any carbs or anything like that as well. So that's an important point that you kind of want to stick to. And again, any of these elimination diet programs will always kind of follow that protocol. So again, here he was eating protein, veggies and starchy carbs, so it's not exactly rocket science either. So you're just eating good foods. And then here's another wee bit, just do what works for you. So again, I tell clients this, but kind of want to show this as well, because it'll be different coming from somebody else, in case you just think I'm kind of raving on or whatever, which of course I would never do that. So again, here's like the 80-20 rule we talk about with new members, and even he maybe talks about 90%. But again, you can bring it to 80 if you want. Occasionally eating lower quality food won't likely harm your physique or health. Just don't too much of it too often. So basically, again, there's nothing kind of revolutionary there. The odd bit of stuff here and there will not kill you. So after that then we're on to page 41. So again, he was talking about mood swings. So again, the first 10 to 14 days, he was, quick to get angry and maybe sarky comments and all this crap. So again, you just kind of have to get used to these things, and it's just a matter of, it's a starting point. And then again, so we're talking over here, he stopped thinking about breakfast altogether, 10-day mark, so we made a bit of progress there. So we're already on to page 43 then. So again, he's talking about adaptation here. Before the body adapts to the new calorie balance and new pattern of fuel utilisation, there are all sorts of physical and mental complaints. However, after the initial period of adaptation, most people start feeling better. So again, you just have to be patient, give yourself a bit of time. Again, here at the bottom actually covers it. Give yourself 2 weeks to adapt. That's usually when the magic happens. So, you can't just expect miracles to happen overnight and, things to just take off. You have to give it a bit of time and have a bit of patience with it. So here's a really important point. See if I can get this in. Folks on the internet tend to be loud proponents of what worked for them, urging others to do the exact same thing in all situations, always and forever, and it's time to buy into their confidence. However, after years of self-experimentation, I realise it's more important to discover what works for me. So again, that's kind of why I started these videos, you know, just kind of try and help out any way you can, kind of put a bit of information out there. So, you know, I hope, like, if people enjoy watching them, then great, and hopefully a few people learn things. But the more videos I put out, eventually, you know, some plonker's going to get all excited and start writing and saying, oh, you're talking this, you're talking that. These are my opinions from training people, and I want to try and keep it simple and to the point, because all the other stuff out there, so much hype and so much crap, you know, just kind of want to help people in a more kind of simple form, because I think a lot of it is pretty simple. A lot of it's just so much hype, and even these guys, a lot of them talk about it, and you know, there's a few good guys, like I said, Alan Cosgrove, Nick Tumnello, kind of talking about things, and it's just, you know, it's all very kind of simple, but there's so much hype and marketing and BS out there, and guys' egos, they want to say, oh, this is my way, this is the only way, this is the way it works, you know, everyone else is stupid. Like, you know, it's totally out of order, and that's what's kind of confusing people, alright. So yeah, it's just good that he kind of mentioned that there as well. So again, coming from him, from John Brody, it'll mean a bit more to people, hopefully. So then we're on to page 53. Again, just getting any pages here. So here he's just talking about, again, it's just a wee bit of nutrient timing, and eat more food immediately after hard workouts and less food as the workout gets further away. So again, that's just what I was talking a wee bit earlier, just about nutrient timing and basically having the bigger feeds after your workout. So then we're on to page 55. Another important point here, nutritional age. You know, how much a person knows about nutrition, how well they can apply that knowledge. Oh, my battery's low. But basically that's just the point about, you know, if you're only starting off, give yourself 4 weeks of maybe doing a couple of workouts, good proper workouts, high intensity resistance workouts, not eating crap. Give yourself 4 weeks of that. You'll get into it, you'll find your feet, and then you can push on, and you can start maybe experimenting with intermittent fasting and things like that. And you know, you can always progress and always build things. But if you go in right from day one wanting to do the devil and all, you know, it's hard to kind of take it all on board, and it's hard to do it all, and eventually, you know, it can kind of sap your motivation, and that's what happens to a lot of people. We're on to then page 56. So whatever folks, what they can't do, they immediately obsess about it. Eventually that obsession becomes an all-out rebellion, leading to F this moment where you flip your day at the board and soothe your fatigue, willpower, muscles and ice cream, self-pity. So again, there was a girl in last week, she was saying about how she drank 4 litres of Coke Zero a day. You know, if I used to tell her no more Coke Zero, that's out, you know, she'd flip out, she'd be, you know, be thinking about it all the time, obsessed over it. But if we get it from 4 litres down to 2 litres, you know, that'd be great progress, you know. So if we can just try and get her to do that, you know, she'll be stepping in the right direction. And if she throws in a few good workouts, 45-minute workouts, resistance, hitting all the muscle groups, you know, she'll progress, and eventually then she'll cut it down to hopefully 1 litre, no litres, you know, replacing those 2 litres of water. And, you know, it's a step in the right direction, okay? So I think that's pretty much it then. Page 59 and 60, we're just going to now. We just basically talks about small changes, gradual changes. Okay, so just this last wee bit. So stay small, change only one variable at a time. And even if the changes are small, that's great news. Okay, so any change at all in the right direction is good news. Okay, so I hope people learned something. I hope you learned something from that anyway, and I didn't bore you too much by going on too long. I know it's a long ass video, but hopefully you got something from it anyway. So thanks for watching. Chat to you later.